Government figures place tourism as one of the most promising sectors in the economy. In 2008, the sector earned about 920 billion shillings, almost 4 times the sum it earned in 2003. The tourism sector is guided by a policy which envisages tourism as a vehicle for poverty reduction, which can help to improve livelihoods of the rural population. This is spelt out in the Wildlife Act, which makes it mandatory for all national parks to share 20% of tourist income with local governments. However, in the ongoing presidential campaigns, the opposition say this initiative has only benefited a few highly connected individuals and plan on changing it.
We in Uganda Federal Alliance 1 are going to have the Ministry of Tourism and Economic Empowerment or Economic Enhancement. That shall ensure, one, that there is equitable share between those communities that are supposed to acknowledge their resource and the population that is actually benefiting from the resource.
The importance of tourism to the locals is actually not there.
But officials from the Wildlife Authority dismiss this claim and say there's much more in tourism than this.
Communities around the parks historically have benefited, and it's also the intention of OA to work with the community to preserve this, because an unhappy community can definitely break down the park. We think there are issues that need to be done better in order for Uganda to actually maximize the potential of tourism in this country. One of such areas is availing the tour operators to import vehicles which can be used to transport tourists effectively. Such vehicles can be facilitated through tax-free regime so that they can come in and they are affordable to the tour operators.
The ruling NRM party on its part says it has plans to consolidate the gains made in the tourism sector through a holistic approach.
The first cornerstone of NRM previously and where we are putting emphasis is peace, stability and security of person and property. The second aspect is ability to attract people with their own money to invest in tourist attraction sites.
While Uganda's numerous tourist attractions like game parks, waterfalls and snow-capped mountains receive many tourists annually, many of the roads to these sites are not well developed. And the UPC party lays the blame squarely on government.
If you go, for example, to Mwea, and if it is rainy season, you can't go from Mwea and go to Good, Mushroom Falls, Good Park, Urengudo.
The NRM, however, disputes this criticism.
UPC people and others will always talk about the good old days. But let's be sincere. Between here and Mushroom Falls, between here and Karuma, are those roads worse or are they better? We can dismiss their ranting with the contempt. In fact, they don't deserve any response from NRM because we think the tourists are seeing things better.
The UPC party, however, claims it has what it takes to improve the sector despite the criticism from the NRM party. In these times of campaigns, we know that politicians normally make very high-sounding promises but achieve very little once in power. Why should Ugandans believe that UPC is going to transform the tourism sector in this country?
I want to tell you, Olaro Tuno and many people around him are serious people. As I've already indicated, the networking of roads and some of the infrastructures, and then expanding some of the sites which are neglected.
Although the NRM party manifesto talks of setting up the infrastructure and training the human resource in the sector, analysts argue that the country needs to be aggressively marketed in order to have an edge over its neighbors.
So positioning Uganda in the global market as a destination should be a priority, and there are a couple of things which need to be done. Website, we need to get the country out there to the tourism markets. We need to get inbound and outbound operators know the country and get the numbers here. That's all.
In addition, it was said that the country needs to come out of its heavy dependence on foreign tourism for it to sustain the sector. The tourism sector can certainly be a catalyst for the development of other sectors of the economy, and analysts hope Uganda's next leader will be able to implement the key demands to further improve the economy. The tourism industry has grown tremendously over the years under the current NRM government. But the sector is faced with a growing human population which threatens to encroach on the key tourist spots. This has led leaders to focus more on creating jobs at the expense of conserving the key tourist sites. And analysts warn that unless this changes, the country risks losing all the gains it has made over the years. Chris Ochamringa, NTV.